Hey family, how are you doing? How are you doing? I wanted to come on here to talk to you guys about something that I saw on TikTok. Somebody sent me this video of this white guy in this store. He he was in a I think he was in Africa, and he was in this store, and it was a clothing store, and so he was talking English. He was talking English, and then he started talking in Yoruba, and they were just like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, he speaks Yoruba, and he did it very well. And I'm like, that really hurt my feelings, because I'm like, it made me think that there are so many of us in diaspora that don't speak any African languages, and it's so sad that we have other races speaking our language and our languages, and we don't even speak it, we don't even know it, and a lot of us, most of us, don't even have the desire to learn it. And it just really hurt my feelings. And it was like, it really, because I know that I want to learn African languages. It's just so many, and I'm like, okay, which ones do I learn? What are the most popular? Which ones are used the most? And so that has been something that I've been thinking about. And but I was just like, I so have to get on top of this, because I do plan to go to the continent, and I want to spend a lot of time there. And it was just like, when the surprise look that they gave him, and just like it just made them, I think, appreciate that he had taken that time to learn the language. And we don't take the time to do that. We don't take the time to learn about us and our culture and everything. And it's just so hurtful. It's so disappointing that we're not in that frame of mind where we are pursuing these things and learning these things about us. Where our minds are in totally different places. We are focused on all the most stupidest things, that don't matter to us in the long run, and yeah, that just really hurt my feelings. And it made me think that, yes, it's time for me to just get started. And I chose Yoruba. I said that that's the language that I want to learn first. So I'm going to get on top of that and start learning it. So when I do go to Nigeria and other countries that speak Yoruba, I know Nigeria speaks Yoruba heavily. I will be able to speak at least, some type have some type of sense, or have some type of knowledge of the language, and even the basics, even just learning the basics. But yeah, I wanted to just mention that. And it also made me think about I'm so embarrassed about. I have worked with people that are of other races. I worked with a young lady, she was Hmong, and a friend of mine who is Turkish. She wasn't born. She was born here in the States, but her parents are from Turkey. And the young lady that I worked with that's Hmong, she was so proud of her heritage and their culture, and she would always post on Facebook all the different, their tradition and the things that they did, and what they wear, and all those different things. And I would be like, oh, that's so cool, and everything. And then my friend that her parents is from Turkish, so she is Turkish. I believe that's how you say it. she would go to Turkey, from time to time, and would bring different things home and would talk about, the food and, the language and how she wanted to learn her language, and she have learned some of, the language. And I'm just like, okay, really not thinking. I'm like, now, this was years ago. I'm like, why didn't it ever like occur to me to like click that I don't know anything about my culture. I'm seeing them being so proud of their culture and their heritage and stuff. And it never clicked to why why I wasn't interested in mine. It just never clicked. And I'm so glad that they never even brought it up. Like, they never brought it up to me. Like, why, like, do you know any of the African languages or anything? Like, if they had I would have been so embarrassed had they brought that up, because I would have been like, no. And because I didn't even think about it. And it's so freaking sad that this is how we are raised here in the States. Unless our parents are into it, unless our parents is aware and have that mindset, the children won't learn. And so many of us did not have parents or grandparents that taught us these things, that talked about our ancestors, that talked about Africa and all those things. A lot of us didn't have that, so we have no connection. That's why we have no connection to the continent or our people there, or have even no desire. And then that's why we're so easily manipulated and into believing the false narrative that is said about the continent, because we have no, again, connection to our people there. But yeah, that just really like opened my eyes and just made me see how far off we are, how behind we are, how other races get it and we don't even get it. Other races are enjoying our culture and the things that we should be enjoying and appreciating and learning and involved in, and we're not even doing it. It's so sad. It's so freaking embarrassing. So it's just like we really need to start getting it together, because by the time it start clicking for us, everybody else is going to be ahead of us in our own culture, as far as our own culture is concerned, our own languages, our own, like, everybody, other races is going to be so above us. There are white people, and there's European people, and Chinese people, and all these other races in Africa that know more about Africa than we do, have experienced Africa. And they I've heard so many times that all you see is European people, Asian people, or Chinese people in the airports coming to Africa. Hardly see any of us going to Africa. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so disappointing, because we're not exposed to it. Like, nobody is teaching us these things, opening our eyes to who we are. And it's like that have to stop. And that's why I have this channel. That's why I open my boutique, The African in Us, is to start talking about these things and making us more aware of how behind we are, and how we need to start embracing who we are, and shining light, and getting familiar, and making connections with the continent and our people there. How imperative it is. It is so important important for us to do that, because America is really going downhill. And what is our backup? What are we gonna do? What is our backup plan? America is not, or even here in diaspora, wherever we are outside of Africa, is not our only option. They don't like us here. We are not wanted. But yet we tend to still just hold on. We just hold on for dear life, just hoping, praying that we will get a chance to have some type of equality or whatever. It's not gonna happen. It's so sad. It's so sad. We should be embarrassed. Like, we should really be embarrassed and ashamed of ourselves. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. And for those of you who are in diaspora, I just wonder, have you considered going to the continent? Have you ever considered going to Africa? Have you thought about learning a language, an African language? Like, where's your head? What are your thoughts on Africa? What are your thoughts about our people in Africa? What are your thoughts about our situation and what we're going through, and what it's going to take for us to be able to live have the peace and live the life that we want to live, as opposed to always fighting. It seems like we always fighting. We have to fight for every single freaking thing. We have to fight for everything. That is no way to live. We have adjusted to being hated. So sad. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So share with me, if you do want to learn a language, what language do you want to learn? I think that, like I said, I think my first one will be Yoruba. So I want to at least learn the basics before I actually go to Africa. All right, I'm gonna leave y'all with that. You have a great rest of your day. I love you so much.